What you wanna know? Did you miss me? What's going on, people? Mike C-Town here. So look, I just dropped What Do You Want to Know video the other day, and I was going to do a vinyl video tonight to talk about some rad records that I just got. But I had a question that came in for What Do You Want to Know segment that I felt needed to be addressed rather sooner than later. There are a few issues that really touch home for me, like this one, so I felt like talking about this would probably be a good idea. So sorry if you feel oversaturated with my bullshit. Here's the question. Computer Family Guy asks, "Hey Mike, I'm a junior in high school getting picked on by 2 freshmen and 1 sophomore. Sad, I know. It's embarrassing and they continually make fun of me, calling me stupid names and saying derogatory and inflammatory remarks. They keep on doing this again and again. I'm not good at insulting people or standing up for myself. I know it seems unusual to ask, but how would you handle the situation? Have you ever been bullied or picked on? How did you deal with it?" Was I ever picked on? Abso-fucking-lutely. For some reason, most people that I talk to just can't see it. Probably because I'm so fucking cool. But I was bullied through middle school and much of high school. I'll give you a short story of what I went through. I moved to Georgia from California when I was about 12. I came from a pretty liberal area called Sacramento and moved to a really small town in Georgia called Conyers, home of one of the largest syphilis outbreaks in U.S. history, but we'll talk about that later. The school I went to was a pretty mixed school, but it was very segregated. Blacks hung out with blacks, whites hung out with whites. I wasn't used to seeing that coming from Sacramento where, my friends were really mixed. I had black friends, white friends, Vietnamese friends, Mexican friends. I was a nerdy little skater kid. I didn't think that was that weird back then, although it wasn't really popular yet for black kids to skate. Another thing to point out is I came from a pretty educated family. My mom was a teacher. My dad worked with computers. I say that to say that caused me to act and carry myself in a certain manner. It also caused me to speak in a certain manner that was not expected from a black mouth. It was looked at as talking white. So these things all assisted in giving bullies plenty of ammo to make fun of me. Middle school, there was about 3 or 4 kids that just didn't like me and, convinced the other kids to follow suit. I don't really remember their names except for one who was a girl. Yes, a girl. Her name was Dee Dee. Fuck you, Dee Dee. She used to call me ugly, make fun of my hair, make fun of my clothes. Because I didn't have fancy clothes. I just wore like skate jeans, skate shorts, skate shoes. And I had this rad jean jacket that I'd drawn this huge like D&D dragon on the back of it because like Christian Slater had that drawn and painted on jean jacket in Gleaming the Cube, and I thought that shit was so sick. So back then, I got called weirdo, white boy, retard, pussy, all that good shit. But, this was the late 80s, early 90s. Things didn't get really bad until high school. High school was a complete and total nightmare for me. I was still in my skater phase, but by then I'd also found punk and hardcore, so I was really a wacko. I started dressing a bit crazier, huge pants, crazy t-shirts. I had green hair, maroon hair. This is when things really picked up as far as bullying went. At this point, people were a bit older and they were a bit more creative as far as, how they would pick on me. I got called everything from black cracker to, again, weirdo, to faggot, to queerbait. I was getting it from all ends. The popular white kids didn't want to hang out with me because they didn't understand me. They didn't know what to make of me. The popular black kids didn't like me because they thought I was trying to act white. Meanwhile, to me, I was just acting like me. I got it from the jocks, the worst. You ever see Napoleon Dynamite? Yeah, I got all that shit. Shoved into lockers, pushed downstairs, people stealing my clothes in gym class. They used to take my cinnamon bun at lunch, or when I wasn't looking, they'd open my chocolate milk just a little bit. They'd peel back the carton just a taste, so when I would shake it up, it would splash all over me, and they'd sit back and laugh. They would throw Jell-O fruit cups at me. because I was vegan. They thought that was funny. Probably the worst thing was they used to play this game called Heart Check, where they would just walk up to you and straight punch you square in the chest. Yeah, my chest is pretty hollow. I've only gained probably about maybe 10 to 15 pounds since high school, so it's pretty much the same frame. This made me miserable. I didn't talk to anyone about it because I didn't think there was anything anyone could really do. Because here's the thing. I knew if I really wanted to, I could change and adapt and pretend to be like them, but when I would really sit down and really think about it, it just didn't seem like much of an option. I wished I could do it, but I just couldn't. It wasn't me. So I would just come home instead every day just hating myself because I thought something was wrong with me, but I didn't know what it was, and I just knew I couldn't fix it. No one could tell because I was always smiling and making jokes, but I was extremely depressed. It even got to the point where I wanted to kill myself. I've never really talked about that with anyone, but it's real. I thought about it a lot. I thought, who would miss me? My sister, my brother, my mom, and that's really why I didn't do it. I couldn't imagine causing that kind of pain to my mom. She'd been through enough in her life. She didn't deserve that. Just because her son wasn't strong enough to handle being picked on at school. So I toughed it out. I just accepted it. I accepted that I was different, that I was weird, that I was odd. What was good was I found a scene where being weird and being an outsider was totally accepted. I was already a skater, so being around those guys, the way I acted and the way I thought was totally cool, but I also found punk. And in punk, it didn't matter that I dressed crazy or spoke in a way that seemed odd. And that meant all the world to me. Like, I could immerse myself in something that made me feel normal for once. When I was feeling weird, I retreated into music. When you can find musicians and bands who are writing songs expressing how you feel, dude, it changed the world for me. When you feel that there's other people out there that feel just like you do, to the point where they're like writing songs and they're willing to dedicate songs on an album to spreading that message, it really makes you realize that you're not alone in this whole thing. It also makes you realize that there's truly nothing wrong with you. Like, how can there really be something wrong with you if it's something that you can't change, and there are thousands of other people in the world who feel the exact same way? I got this shit for 3 straight years, man. It didn't really slow down until the end of 11th grade. What changed it? I think, honestly, it was the fact that I discovered that I had a smart-ass mouth. I struck back in the only way I knew how. They'd say something shitty to me, I'd come back with something 10 times shittier and 1,000 times more clever. Here's the thing, that worked for me. I won't say that works for everyone. This is a different world now. When I was in high school, guns weren't really a thing. Columbine hadn't happened yet. When you were getting fucked with, jumping online and ordering a gun just wasn't an option. There weren't many other options outside of ignoring it or knuckling up and shooting the 5. And I was a skinny, wiry little kid, so shooting the 5 wasn't really an option either. Me fighting a basketball player that was at least a foot taller than me and outweighed me by probably about 100 pounds, that just wasn't wise. So I went with the first option. I ignored it as much as possible. I internalized it and just reminded myself that at some point this was all going to be over. But the thing is, I'm not going to tell you to do what I did because that method doesn't work for everyone. I think the main piece of advice I can give you is to talk to someone, whether it's your parents, a counselor, whoever, man. Like, you'd be surprised at how many teachers take this kind of thing very, very seriously. But I will tell you, the best people to talk to are friends, man. People who just listen, not necessarily judge you. They also won't give you the textbook answers of, it's going to be okay. Because a lot of times, that's not what you want to hear, man. You don't think it's going to be okay. And you don't want anyone to be giving you some bullshit, seventh heaven ass answer. You want to just vent, man. You want to just, like, tell someone what's going on. So find someone that's cool for you to vent to. And just let it out when you need to. And I guarantee you'll feel a lot better. Better yet, man, find others that are maybe going through the same thing, man. Click up with some other nerds. Form a posse. United we stand, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll feel much better when you know you're not alone, when you guys can get together and talk and discuss how these guys that are picking on you are total fucking assholes. Man, it helps. And sometimes it will keep a lot of these bullies from fucking with you, because if they see that you're clicked up with a crew of people, they're not going to mess with you, because it's easier to fuck with you when you're by yourself, because they're cowards. They're not going to do anything that's going to actually jeopardize them and get them potentially fucked up. But with those friends, man, you can just sit around and remind each other that, again, it's not going to last forever. And that's really what I want to drill into your head, bro. Like, high school is only 4 years. You have the rest of your life after that. You know, the whole idea of it's always darkest before the dawn, you know, it's true, man. Like, I'll say honestly, getting picked on and bullied in high school was the worst and the best thing to ever happen to me. It was awful because it made me feel completely inadequate as a human being. But it was the best thing because once I made it through, I realized it made me one of the most comfortable in my own skin type of people, man. It made me confident in myself. Like, it made me not give a fuck what people think about me. I look at the world now and say, what can you possibly say to me, dude? I've heard it all. I've been through it all. Nothing you can say to me now is new. And if I didn't let it beat me down when I was a kid, I sure as fuck ain't gonna let it beat me down as an adult. Bullies are trying to get some kind of reaction out of you. Don't give it to them. It'll drive them crazy. But a lot of times, it'll get them to just leave you the fuck alone. A lot of others will tell you to punch him or fight him. But dude, that only works for certain people, not everyone. I can't recommend that course of action because sometimes retaliation just isn't worth it. You're better off just avoiding them as much as possible. I know being in school that this is not totally feasible, but do what you can. Avoid them as much as you can. The thing about bullies that you really have to remember is that it has absolutely nothing at all to do with you. You're not being picked on because something is wrong with you. You're being picked on because something is wrong with them. They see something in you that they feel that they can exploit, which in some fucked up way will make them feel better about themselves. It's a cheesy thing that adults will tell you continuously, but it's not old people bullshit. I swear to God, man, it's absolutely true. I don't care if you have one arm, if half your face is burned off in a fire, if you're born with some kind of crazy deformity. That doesn't mean that you don't belong. That doesn't mean that your essence isn't important to the world and needed by the world. Don't let these motherfuckers convince you otherwise. Ever. You are unique, you're an individual, you're different, but different is good. Different is special. Don't ever worry about being normal. Who the fuck wants to be normal? All the people I look up to in the world, man, none of them are normal. Is Robert Smith normal? Is Morrissey normal? Is Brother Ali normal? Is Slug normal? Is LP normal? Is David Tibet normal? Was Jimi Hendrix normal? Is Spike Lee normal? Fuck being normal. Be proud to be different, man. Be proud to be unique. Shrug the naysayers and the haters off. But all in all, just know that it's not you, man. It's totally them. You're not alone in this. You're not a pussy because you don't feel like you can just take it. You're a human being with feelings and emotions, and it's perfectly normal to go through this. It's also perfectly normal to seek help, so do it. But at the end of the day, don't let these motherfuckers get you down. They're the ones with the problem, not you. You're going to go through the rest of your life knowing they picked on you because you had the fucking guts to refuse to stop being yourself no matter what the persecution. And at some point in life, they, on the other hand, will have to one day face the fact that they were cruel to someone all because deep down they couldn't accept their own issues. And karma will handle their asses. That's not for you to worry about. You just worry about staying true to yourself and you'll be just fine. And remember I was talking about the whole syphilis thing? Well, since I was a nerd, I wasn't allowed to these sex parties where the syphilis outbreak happened. So, one benefit from being a dork in school, you won't get laid and therefore you don't have to worry about STDs. But god damn, I would have loved to have gotten some ass before the age of... Wouldn't you like to know? So that's it. I hope this helped. I don't know you, but I love you, man, and I hope that you make it through this in the most positive way possible, like I did. If you're watching this, feel free to reach out to me if you like. But I don't really know what else to say, man. So just don't let the motherfuckers get you down, bro. Um, you know how we do in these motherfucking streets. Thank you for living. Thank you for loving. Thank you for being you. And I will see you guys next time. All right? Peace. Bitches. You're glad I didn't kill myself, right? Yeah? Thank you.